All right, so here it is. Here's the Nintendo Switch. So let's open it up. All right, and wow. And that's smaller than I expected. Honestly, smaller than I expected. I expected it to be a bit bigger for some reason. And here's the console. Yeah. Yep, there's the console. Honestly, it feels similar to my iPhone 7 Plus in terms of size. Really expected it to be bigger. The pictures make it look bigger, but yep, there it is. So there's some of the ports. Yeah, it feels. I wouldn't say that it feels super premium, but for a Nintendo device, it definitely feels like a high quality device. It definitely feels far better than the Wii U. Wii U had that cheap plastic, and this feels much better. Yeah. And man, this feels kind of weird. Seems like the device is kind of too flat in a way. And again, I think it's just gonna have to take time for me to get used to. Oh. All right, hello everybody. Just wanted to send this quick video out kind of as a branch from the old D-pad to the new D-pad, which is in this current gen of gaming with the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles. I've had a lot of fun with these new consoles. I've got the I've had the PS5 and the Xbox Series X since launch, and I've had a lot of fun with the consoles. Over time, we could see where each brand was going during this current gen of gaming, and it's a really exciting time, and I'm really pumped to play a lot of the upcoming games that are coming soon. So I'm just gonna talk about everything. First, I'm going to start off with the Nintendo Switch, which is the oldest of the current batch of consoles that people are still buying right now. And the Nintendo Switch is such a great console. I've been enjoying it a whole lot. As you can see here, this is the OLED model. I upgraded to the OLED model shortly after it released, and it's been a really good device. I've been playing the Nintendo Switch more due to the OLED screen being really good and really great for Nintendo's games. As you know, Nintendo's games are very bright, they're very colorful, and the OLED screen fits that perfectly. So I've been playing the Nintendo Switch more during these past, I would say almost 12 months or so, in comparison to how I was during 2020 and 2021, because the OLED model is just that nice, and it's just, to me, that big of an upgrade. The Switch is just such a smart console from Nintendo. Nintendo had trouble in the home console space, but they've always done well in the, I should say they mostly done well in the handheld space. You know, there were those few years of the 3DS's early life in which things weren't doing so great, but besides that, Nintendo has been doing really, really good when it comes to the handheld space. And they combined all the positives of the handheld space with the positives that they're known for or were known for in the console space, and they took them into one device, which is the Nintendo Switch, and it's been great. The system has been selling like hotcakes still, even though it's 5 years old. People are still hungry for the Switch. They're hungry for Switch games. I know I'm really pumped for the upcoming Switch games coming soon, such as Splatoon 3, which is one of my favorite series that came from the Wii U era. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Nintendo continues on with the Switch. I personally don't see how they can move on from the Switch in terms of, say, the successor to the Switch being a different console, a console that doesn't follow the, I guess you could say, the design of the Switch. I personally can't see how they could ever go back to just a basic home console after the Switch, because it just is just such a good fit for Nintendo's games that have been around since the 80s. The series are really well, I should say most of Nintendo's games are very easy to pick up and play, and that just fits the Switch well. So again, if Nintendo does move on from the Switch in terms of their new device coming in the near future, I will personally be very surprised. But we'll see what happens. Nintendo is known for thinking outside of the box all the time, and that may happen again pretty soon as we move on in this decade of gaming. All right, now moving on to Xbox. Xbox this generation has been all about Game Pass, and it has really been a good fit for them. They've never really been the biggest, I would say, console brand when it comes to first-party exclusive games, but they've done enough to keep themselves relevant, and they are adding a lot of features to the Xbox ecosystem to make it a really ideal place to play the majority of multi-plats. And Game Pass just adds on to that. When you combine Game Pass with the exclusives that Microsoft does have in their first party lineup, it's a good combo, and it makes sense as to why people are really interested in getting the Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S. The consoles have been doing much better than the predecessor, i.e. the Xbox One, during its lifetime, even though the Xbox One had far more exclusives during its first 2 years than what the Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X has. So personally, the Xbox Series X is my main console, and I've been enjoying it a lot between Game Pass and using it for the third-party multi-plats. I mean, just those two categories alone keep me busy on my Xbox Series X. I can understand other people feeling differently in terms of the games coming out. 2022 is a pretty light year for the Xbox brand, especially with Starfield getting delayed. But I still personally have a lot of stuff to play on my Xbox Series X, and it's been a fun time these past 2 years with Xbox. I love how fast the Series X is. I love how smart delivery works, especially with my huge backwards compatibility library. All those games coming over to the Xbox Series X and having them instantly be in their highest resolution and best picture quality and highest frame rate is a really good fit with my OLED TV. So I've really enjoyed the Series X a whole lot. On the flip side, the Series S, while it isn't for me, I did get a Series S for my dad, who's more of a casual gamer. He really was interested in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and he likes to play some sports games here and there, so I got it for him, and he's been loving it. The Series S is pretty much all the fast features of the Series X, but more ideal for people that aren't really AV savvy, people that don't want the best graphics, just people that want to play the latest games. And the Series S fits that really well in terms of people that want to play the most popular third-party multi-plats. And that's part of the reason why the Series S is doing well. It's the cheapest console to play those new third-party multi-plats, even though they're not at their top fidelity. You know, they're not at the highest or best graphics, and that's part of the reason why the Series S has done well. I mean, $299 is a great price when you compare it to the $499 consoles. And while I will say, you know, the digital PS5 is a better price for what you're getting if you care about third-party multiplats, a lot of people just want the cheapest box to play the games that they're interested in, and the Series S is that. You know, as I said before, it's $299. So therefore, the Series S is going to do well during the holiday season. You know, it might even go down a little bit more in price, you know, just as a special Black Friday deal. You know, I could see it being $249 during Black Friday. You know, never know, especially since, you know, there's a lot of good deals online already for the Series S. You know, Series S has been available for $249 already online, so I could see that being a price that Microsoft sets for the Series S during November. You know, you never know, especially with these big games coming during the holiday season. You know, just bunching that up with the Series S, and due to Series S being digital only, you know, Microsoft knows that they can get that money back through Game Pass or just having people buy games in the digital ecosystem of Microsoft. You know, it's a really good idea, I think, and I think that we will see the Xbox Series S being $249 this holiday season. I will say that that's my prediction for the Series S, but we'll see what happens there. So overall, Xbox in 2022, you know, doesn't have that much, but 2023 looks to be a much better year for the consoles in terms of, or I should say the Xbox consoles, in terms of first party content. You have Starfield and the brand new next gen debut of Forza Motorsport, which looks amazing. Just those two games alone should have a lot of people talking for Xbox games in 2023, and we'll see what else 2023 brings for the Xbox brand. But so far, this has been a really good gen. 2022 has been, you know, kind of an iffy year, but things are looking up. You know, especially since games have been delayed to increase their quality. You know, it's not like games are getting delayed and then scrapped, i.e. Scalebound, during the Xbox One generation. You know, these games are still being worked on in order to make them even better. So if that's the case, then 2023 should be a really good year for the Xbox brand. And now over to the PS5. The PS5 has been the hardest console to find out of the bunch, and that's just in part been due to the high demand of the PS5. You know, a lot of people want the PS5, and things have gotten better in 2022. It seemed almost impossible for people to get the PS5 in 2021, especially if they weren't looking online for one. But 2022 has been better, especially this second half of the year. So overall, the PS5 hasn't done as well as the PS4 in sales due to the high demand, as well as the chip shortage, which has in part been caused by the pandemic. But the PS5 is still doing very, very well, and it's a console that has a lot of great games coming in the near future, as well as 2023 plus. And it's been a really fun time to have a PS5, in my opinion. What's been, you know, kind of weird was how the PS5 was originally pushed, or at least pushed in 2020. You know, it was pushed as a really big next-gen device, you know, a device that's definitively next-gen, but the majority of its first-party games, especially those that are AAA and have the most hype, those games have been cross-gen. You know, those games are also available on the PS4. And some people have been disappointed by that. You know, me personally, I know that the games are the best on the PS5 in terms of the visuals and frame rates. So for me, you know, that alone makes me happy that I have the PS5, because again, I'm playing these games on my OLED TV, and on my OLED TV, I want the best graphics possible. And, you know, the PS5 fits that for Sony exclusive games. So for me personally, I've really enjoyed the PS5. There are some things that I don't like about the PS5, or, you know, well, I shouldn't say don't like, but just feel are downgraded from the PS4. For example, the interface. I do feel that the interface is a little bit more complicated than the PS4 interface was, and that's not just due to the PS5's interface being different. There's just some loops that I feel just don't make sense in terms of getting to where you want to go in menus. But other than that, I've really enjoyed the PS5. Ratchet & Clank, which is funny, Ratchet & Clank does not fit the mode of many of the PS5 console exclusives, because Ratchet & Clank is a true PS5 exclusive. You know, you can only get it for the PS5, and that game was great. I loved that game, and it was probably one of the, I mean, still is, I should say, my top 5 favorite games of this generation of gaming so far. We've been in it for about a year and a half now, 16, 17 months now, and that game is still in my top 5 for best games of this current generation, or this new generation of gaming, because between just how fun it is, just the features that you know can only be possible on a current gen console that has SSD, it is just a really good mix. I really enjoy that game, and I'm kind of disappointed, to be honest, that more people haven't talked about Ratchet & Clank. You know, people see Ratchet & Clank as just a kiddie game, and I just wish that more people would give it a chance. Speaking of more people giving games a chance, Sony has been getting deeper into digital services, especially with how successful, or I should say how much buzz Microsoft has gotten with Game Pass. So they have their own service additions or service changes with PS Plus, and so far things have been, you know, pretty good. They can do better. You know, they don't have all the games that Microsoft has when it comes to just the big AAA games coming to the service day one, or say within a month or two. But the service is good, especially if you're a PlayStation fan. There is a good library of games in Sony's service that dates back all the way to PS1. And there's been, you know, a good amount of buzz for it. I would have, you know, really enjoyed seeing them put Ratchet & Clank in there, especially since, again, the game hasn't gotten too much buzz after it launched. You know, there's still a lot of people that haven't played Ratchet & Clank, and I think that if it was in the service, then more people will give Ratchet & Clank a fair chance. But we'll see what happens as the months progress. To me, I would have put Ratchet & Clank in the PS Essential service as soon as it went up. You know, that would have been a day one. You know, it's pretty weird for me, or at least weird in my opinion, to still see it not get pushed heavily, since it's a really great game. But you know, we'll see what happens as these months progress. You know, hopefully Sony will be willing to give Ratchet & Clank to more people, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart to more people, to have them played on their PS5, because it's pretty much the biggest next gen experience, I would say, so far on the PS5, and a game that definitely can't be replicated on the PS4 systems. So again, if you're watching this and you have a PS5, please give Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. It's a great game, and I can't see how you could be disappointed in it, because it's just a really good way of showing the PS5's power. But outside of that, I've enjoyed the PS5. You know, I only use the PS5 mainly for exclusives. I've been playing Gran Turismo 7 on it, and you know, I can admit that if I had the PS4 Pro still, and you know, if I had that for another two years, you know, say 2020 to 2022, i.e. the present, I would probably be fine with the PS4 Pro. But I have the PS5, and I'm seeing the improvements over the PS4 Pro, especially when it comes to playing games, and I'm happy that I have the PS5. So again, if you have a PS4 Pro or a PS4, and you know, you're kind of bummed out that you don't have the PS5, you know, while it is understandable, just still be happy that you're still getting support from Sony when it comes to these first party exclusives coming soon. And the system is getting easier to find, so hopefully you'll be able to pick one up during this holiday season in 2022. All right, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say about these 3 consoles that make up this current generation of gaming. You know, not that in depth, but I just wanted to kind of catch up with you guys, kind of tell you guys where I'm at in terms of my gaming library and what I've been playing and how much I've been loving the 3 consoles that are current or considered the current gen of gaming. I've been having a really good time with all 3 consoles, and there's many games that I'm looking forward to on all 3, and I personally haven't had this much fun when it comes to gaming in years. So I've really enjoyed all 3 consoles, and I hope you guys have been enjoying gaming too, whether you have just 1 console or all 3. So again, the D-pad's coming back soon, and I hope you guys will be watching those episodes that will be coming in the very near future as I talk about all the games that I'm interested in that are coming to the PS5, the Switch, and the Xbox Series consoles. All right, and with that, I'm just gonna end it there. Again, this is a really simple video. I just wanted to catch up with you guys, and I'll see you for the next video. All right.